Hey guys, how's it going? It's your boy M.K.S here, back in another video, and finally back in another video. Welcome to part 2 of whatever this is. I suppose if I don't know, how's anyone else going to know? But on a serious note, I went to this neurosty event earlier, and then I went for a drink with my mate and got my wallet. But on a serious note, I went for my granddad nap, and so yeah, most of the day's gone. But this is part 2 of Black Tuesdays, and also whatever ideas I cover for this could also be applied to native people from across the Americas and the neurodiverse community. Please get involved in the discussion in the comments and let me know what you think, either on Facebook or YouTube, or preferably both. I really appreciate it. So how would you empower the Black diaspora, Black people, and the Black community, whatever you want to call them, and neurodivergent people and Native Americans? I normally like to say in a certain order, but I'd say in the wrong order. So, first of all, I guess, or whatever. But anyway, thought I'd make one more video before I go for my shower. So anyway, I hope you enjoy it. And these are pointers number 11 to 20. I was a bit worried when I looked at my YouTube. I hope I don't have any tech issues on Facebook or YouTube. I'm not sure which one I prefer to upload on. I think they both have their positive and negative traits, But I saw this when you do the thumbnail. It sort of had a strange sort of screen, so I was thinking, I hope they haven't blocked my channel. It doesn't look like it, but I'll speak to you soon about that. Hopefully I'll have this channel for as long as possible and my Facebook profile, but I record on both just in case. But I know I overdo things. I have to be careful, like when you're in a WhatsApp group, of not oversending too much info or whatever. So anyway, here goes. So number 11, I was thinking earlier about, and I should be careful not to overthink, but thinking too much, but I was thinking, I think it was when I got up from my granddad nap, which lasted about 3 hours, so it was about 8 o'clock, I think it was. I thought of, I didn't have anything to eat, so I then had some my dinner and all that kind of thing to give the energy. I was going to give my nice life stories, but I'll probably say that in part 3 or whatever. But anyway, I'll try and get to the point. So I was thinking about how some say that the reason why a lot of people never get rich is because not because of inability, or even because like lack of opportunities or lack of capital. It's lack of knowledge. That like school is designed to like dumb people down in a clever way. I know I've mentioned that in the past, but people might have different theories about this. But it's like say Joe Bloggs built his own ice cream company. Maybe he even just has like he or she, let's say, has an ice cream van, and they go around obviously delivering ice cream and whatever as they do, and as ice cream vans normally do. And I suppose they say the level of their ambition. I mean, if they say I want to have my ice creams are ice creams in all countries by tomorrow, it's the ambition is too high, so you can have it too high and too idealistic, and sort of that would put off potential investors and donors and sponsors and whatnot, because they'll be like, you got pie in the sky sort of ideas. But if they say within 5 or 10 years we want to be in every country, their ambitions are high, but it's over a measured period of time. And I suppose people say that I suppose being impatient with your actions, taking action now, but being patient with your results, which unfortunately I'm probably the opposite. I've mentioned that before. But so I was thinking, tying it into the Black community, the Black diaspora. Changing the way they learn about money, basically. So and like the size of their ambitions. So to say, you're not going to be like a billionaire tomorrow, or trillionaire certainly tomorrow, or whatever. More than likely. In fact, I don't imagine that'd be possible. You got to sell things. You got to take time. People have got to find out about your company, what you sell or whatever. But you might say, well, I'm going to start with one ice cream truck, and then I'm going to start to employ people. And the more money I get, instead of saving it in the bank, I'm going to put that money in to reinvesting in the business. So I'm going to, not everyone's into business, but reinvest into the business. So we're going to get more people, and if they work together as a network, the black diaspora, the black community, whether that's in Britain or America or elsewhere, but if they do it globally, and a lot of things you can scale. This word I've heard recently, like scale, over the last few years or so, last year or so. I don't know if I even understand it that well. Like it's like supply and demand. People mention that, but it's like understanding what that means: location, and that kind of thing. So scaling a business. So saying we're going to go global, and we're going to employ other people, and you can use online. I think one of the things that could make tech companies so much money, AI companies and all that, is you can do that globally. So you can operate across Africa, Australasia, Europe, Asia, the Americas, and whatnot, from the comfort of your room, really, in a way. But you can also network with other people and things like that. So that's my opinion on it, anyway. And I heard people say, quite a few people say, like, that's Jordan Belfort from the Wolf of Wall Street says, the real life Jordan Belfort says the difference between rich and poor, and he mentioned 10 things. Unfortunately, one of them is hard work, which is not something I'm very good at. Well, I suppose I could probably try, but it's not something I'd like to do if I can help it. And I wonder if that's like an autistic thing where I say, I mean, some autistic people are incredibly hardworking, like Elon Musk, Bill Gates might be autistic or whatever, and others as well, but Mark Zuckerberg, for instance, and others like that. But being honest, although sometimes I'm too spineless to be honest, but I wonder if it is, talking about neurodiversity, I wonder if it is something like where I say, I have to be careful not to say what I see, and not to offend people and taking things too literally, and like saying, if I was really honest, I would never work hard. I would always try and work smart instead. But maybe that's not possible, but if you want to achieve amazing things. But he was saying about the size of ambition. So he said most people don't get rich, not because they aim really high and miss, but because they aim really low and hit their target. So if you're which to me makes sense. Like if you aim to be a billionaire and you fail, you might still be like, you might still have hundreds of millions. Well, I think being happy and enjoying life is more important. So I think even just, I suppose, enjoying the process, kind of. To me, if you enjoy it, it's not really hard work, but it's something you want to do. If you find an area you're good at and that you enjoy. But those are some of my own theories about business and that kind of thing. Although it's all theory because I've never actually took the plunge and actually set up a business or whatever. But yeah, if they learn to think differently about money, like instead of saving it, learn to invest it instead of having a job, learn to run a business instead of doing it by yourself. And saying if you want a job done right, do it yourself. Learning to delegate and network with others and that kind of thing. But yeah, I'd love to know whether you agree with me or not. It'd be great if like business people themselves come across me and are not too harsh, hopefully, but say whether they agree or not. They might say no, you're talking rubbish, or you're a bit harsh, but they might say no. From my experience, it works this way or whatever. Or you're very good at the theory, but you're not very good at the practical or whatever. But moving on that note, number 12. So seeing what they can teach and train each other with. And maybe relearning some of the things we learn, like at school, like failure is a bad thing, and things like I don't like failure, but I should be used to it. But I don't like failing. I don't like making mistakes. But in the long term, maybe the more you fail, especially if you fail early, the more you learn, and the longer term you fail less. So, like someone could say, well, I don't want to fail in life, so I'm never going to take on a driving test or whatever. I'm never going to learn to drive. Well, you could say, well, you haven't failed your test because you haven't taken it, but then again, you've never learned to drive. So in a way, if you look at your end goal, if you don't reach it, maybe that's failure. So maybe a bit of a morbid one, but which one will you regret more on your deathbed? Would it be that you didn't start a business and therefore you didn't have all that hassle, you didn't have to do the hard work, or whatever it is, and then but you didn't reach your goals, but at least you just had a regular, comfortable, normal life, if you like, or that you went for it and okay, it went a bit wrong, but you tried. You did everything you could, and you say, well, I gave it all I've got, so I can know that I did put the effort in. As I say, in a smart way, in my opinion. And again, if you enjoy it, to me, that's how I define smart work versus hard work. Like something you enjoy. It's also towards an end goal, and things like that. So, hard work, you can work really hard, but not have an end goal or not know what you're working hard for, or things like that. And as some people say, like it's making your money and your through investments, it's making your money and through businesses, making other people work for you, people and money work for you rather than you work for people and trickle money. But it's obviously a lot easier said than done, of course, as usual, as everything is probably till you do it. I wonder if like, my cousin said to me once, he works in tech, and he says, I find tech really easy now. Like, you have an input device and you have an output device and whatever. But I wonder if that could be the same for business, especially if you've done it for a long time. Unfortunately, I think it does take time, but if they work together in a community, maybe they can make it easier for themselves. The black community could do that. The native people from across the Americas could do that, and neurodivergent people could do that as well. Again, whatever ideas I have for one group could probably pretty much be copied and pasted, if you like, or replicated, or however you want to put it, for the other group or groups. But yeah, seeing what they could teach and train each other. So, like, what maybe unlearning what you've learned about money. Maybe checking different books like Rich Dad Poor Dad, The Cash Flow Quadrant, and many other things, and seeing what you learn from them and which ones work best for you. It might be different books, or it might be listening to YouTube videos. I prefer that way because I don't really like reading. Some people might prefer to read. Maybe doing an experiment. One experiment I thought of is like, if you pick a topic and say in December, let's say, or next year, let's say in January. Let's say someone said took this on like in December, each day in December, read as many books as you can. Like if it takes you a day to read a book, like read a book a day or whatever, and then the month after, on the same sort of thing, listen to YouTube videos. I suppose the disadvantage of that is that once you've already read it or already listened to YouTube videos or whatever, it might cloud your judgment a bit. But you can think about which one you learn better from. So I think you probably learn just as well from listening. In fact, you probably learn better from listening, especially if you're some people, like if you've got dyslexia or whatever, you probably learn better from listening than you do from reading. But I'd love to know what you think again if you have any experience on that. I guess there is some flaw in the experiment, because we pick the same topic to try and be as fair as possible. I didn't really think of that, but if I'm honest. But you could say that you've already learned quite a lot from reading it, so it's obviously you're not going to unlearn that, I imagine, within a month. So, but talking about unlearning, as I say, sometimes what school teaches you, as I say, what school forgot to teach you, really what it's probably what school deliberately didn't teach you about business or about money or whatever, and whatever. So yeah, it deliberately dumbs down people to be workarounds, but it doesn't want you to be a business person, an investor, or whatever. That's what I'm not saying. But yeah, some say business is actually the opposite to what you do in school. Like you work as a team. If you have to do everything yourself and you're the smartest person in the room, then you have to be, then you will stay small. Like some people, let's say Joe Bloggs leaves his 9 to 5 and he sets up a business, but he has a 9 to 5 employee mindset. He trades money. That's why he trades time for money. That's what they call a job. Like you work 9 to 5, trading time for money. That's what you get paid per hour. And also your freedom, I guess, as well. But I was thinking you can have more freedom. It's pretty cool to have more freedom, more and more. But yeah, if you trade like solutions for your time and that, or whatever for money, for your money rather. But yeah, they say trading time for money and that kind of thing. So you're going to be short of one just to get the other, if you know what I mean. Hope someone out there knows what I mean. But they say, so yeah, if you set up a business but you say, oh, I have to do everything myself, or I don't trust anyone else to do it, I don't really want to delegate, then I think you can stay a lot smaller, but to do it a different way you can probably grow quite big. But moving on, number 13, so I'd love to know about some of the, although it'd be, in a way, I'd love to know about some of the troubles facing the black community and Trickle native people from across the Americas and Trickle neurodivergent people, because, as I often say, like, to know the problem, you can then look at how to address the issue. You have to know the trouble first before you can solve that problem. I think of trouble because it begins with T, just like Tuesday, but you can also say problem, issue, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I know I always say, from the selfish point of view, pretty much always say about the Italian football thing. So seeing what black, Native American, and neurodivergent people can do for Italian footy teams, soccer teams, or whatever you want to call them, like Milan, Roma, Torino, teams like that. Number 14, troubleshooting, i.e. solving problems. Again, I'm going on my alliterations, so I'm saying troubleshooting because it's a Tuesday. So shooting down trouble. What I mean by that is like solving problems. I don't know if I'm using the term correctly, but troubleshooting for different companies. And again, going back to what Robert Kiyosaki says, is it's like if you want $1 million, solve $1 million problem, but you probably got to solve a bigger problem than that, because by the time you pay your staff and all your business costs, overheads and all that, you probably got to solve a problem worth way more than that. Yeah, they say business is about taking problems and solving them. Some even say it's not even, it's debatable, but they say it's not even how hard you work. As someone put it, it's not the universe, as they put it, doesn't care how hard you work. And he claims he learned a lot from Robert Kiyosaki's book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, but I suppose it's conflicting reviews on it. But he said if you solve a problem, then you get paid for it. And a lot of people say that. Again, some might dispute that, but like if you get a plumber, I mean, I could come and do someone's plumbing and spend an hour. I would say you should pay me for that hour. But if I haven't solved your plumbing problem or electricity problem or whatever it is, then it's not really much good. If a bumbling idiot like me, a twit like me, tries to solve your problem, it's not gonna. Well, that problem at least is more a practical problem. Given my dyspraxia, it's not really gonna. I mean, some dyspraxic people might be able to, but me personally, being a bit of a twit, I wouldn't really be able to be very good at that. Although I'm an ideas person, so if there's an idea, like looking outside the box, I'd be a lot better at that. I'm not very good with my hands. But yeah, troubleshooting, taking down problems, and that kind of thing. Number 15. I love to support black people with their ambitions, whether that's in business, banking, tech, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, or any other sort of things that they might wish to work on. Number 16, I'd love for there to be think tanks which talk about what are the best ways to support the black community, what are the most best ways, in better English, to the best ways to empower the black community, whether that's in, again, those areas I talked about. So how to help them with their personal ambitions, whether that's making money or their health, joy, happiness, all that kind of thing, which are, to me, are the most important things, I guess. Although I don't always look after my health as much as I should. In fact, I don't very often, but I do walk quite a lot. I did walk about, I'd say about maybe 8 miles altogether today. I think that isn't too bad. I got a bit lazy to go to the gym, but I know my diet is really bad, talking about myself. But yeah, the black community could discuss like what are the best ways to be healthy and that kind of thing. But I think also on Mondays and Tuesdays, I normally think, as I said before, like in terms of business, and on Tuesday I think about tech as well. But I'd also love to know from the black community like what they think about a network globally to work together to in business, banking, tech, and things like how can banks help the black community. Like for instance, how can they train them for careers in banking, especially high-powered careers and that kind of thing, high-paid careers, training, and things like that. And also business support in terms of training, funding, and things like that for businesses, black-owned businesses. I talked about hashtag please buy it black and hashtag please bank black and that kind of thing. Yeah, how they can network together and invest together and that kind of thing. Number 17, on that note, I'd love to know whether you agree with a lot of the stuff I just discussed, or whether you think there are other ways or better ways. I often think like it would be cool to have a mentor who's made money and said, I never felt I worked hard, it's just like fun and I enjoy it, so it doesn't really feel like hard work. That'd be pretty cool, especially if they've made a lot of money. But I'm not that materialistic, as I often say, so I would love to, if I found any information about that kind of thing, I would love to help people in Africa and around the world, developing nations and that kind of thing, as well as disadvantaged people generally. I love to share that information. Like I said at the beginning of the video, like about a person having an ice cream truck, but then an ice cream van or whatever, and then you expand maybe to try and think about different flavors you could have. That's another thing I forgot to mention actually, is about flavors. If you only had one flavor, it wouldn't go as well, but if you had lots of different flavors and you did things differently to your competitor, you could get the prices down. So again, having more than one ice cream van, you could buy things in bulk just like superstores do, and then you could sell them for cheaper. Sell them for cheaper in better English. So yeah, that would be another way to increase your customer base and that kind of thing. Number 18, from historical success stories, hopefully they can inspire more people to again get into business, banking, and all that kind of thing, and they can network, teaching each other and training each other, passing on information that they know, knowledge and that kind of thing to each other. So teaching each other what they know, basically, to put it simply, training each other, that kind of thing, whatever the difference is. But yeah, I think it was with teaching and training and that kind of thing. Number 19. So yeah, hopefully in the future there'll be a lot more black people in business, banking, and especially and tech as well. And sometimes they can overlap. I mean, some people might say you shouldn't start a business when you're so young. You should work for other people first, get paid enough, and then invest it. And then see what you've learned and learn from other people's mistakes. As someone put it, as Mel Robbins, sorry, I think this put it. You could, I don't know a huge amount about her, but she's a motivational speaker, and she says, learn off other people's dollar. So when they're paying you, and you're learning, and then you can build a business. But I think you're probably going to make mistakes anyway and fail sometimes, unfortunately, whatever you do. So it's more than likely. So, but being a part of a network could really help. To cut back those mistakes and failures. Maybe even, I think it'd be amazing if they could get rid of, if you could pretty much guarantee success and stroke or make life easier for each other, as I said before, like make robots and things like that, as I said in the past, including part one. And number 20, as I say, in my opinion, if a young person, this is controversial, this is a controversial view because I think a lot of people will probably say you should start working a regular job first, even if it's like at McDonald's or as a cleaner or whatever. Then you get paid and then you learn all you can, keep your eyes and ears open, and you learn what you can, and then you can build a business from after that. But I'm a great believer in just starting a small business and bootstrapping or budgeting, and then if you lose your money, you can see it's a lesson, you paid for your education and then you haven't lost too much. You've kept some aside that's safe, and then you can reinvest. Again, you can start again and build a second and a third business until eventually you get it right. And talking about guaranteeing success, if I saw a young person, obviously not that way, just in case people think, if I saw a young person, I said, or let's say their parents said, I'm really concerned about my son or my daughter. They're always thinking about business and they've got their heads in the cloud and whatever, their head in the cloud, or maybe it's their kids in the plural or whatever. But if if you said, what will you do if you try a business and it doesn't work? And they say, I'm going to keep going and keep trying until eventually I find that business that works. I think that's probably a determined person. I suppose that person would either go bust and crash and burn, or they will go to prison, or they will become homeless, or they would make it, as apparently Richard Branson's headmaster said, you'd either go to prison or be a millionaire. And funny enough, he did both. Funny answer, he did both, and he became a billionaire as well. But I think someone who's determined, who says, whatever it takes, even if I fail 100 times, eventually I'll succeed. If they can have that level of confidence, especially at a young age, I wish I was like that when I was young and wasn't afraid of failure. Listen to what people said. As my cousin said to me, I talked about my ideas, and he used to say, just start a business, and he used to say, just start, just do it. And I was like, surely if I knew how to do it, I would just do it. But he said, or get a job if you're not going to take that risk. But I couldn't quite get it at that time, unfortunately. But I'm trying to remember what else he said. I was trying to remember, but the irony is, if you're afraid of failure and you don't take the risk, then you fail anyway, I guess. Because if you later on you have regrets about not doing it. But that's not specifically what he said. But it's really annoying. I forgot what he said. But yeah, you seek approval. That was it. Sorry, you seek approval, so you want people to tell you, you can do it or whatever. And I suppose if you try and go into business, as people say, that you can be misunderstood, or you will be misunderstood, as Fusi Bekwayo, a South African entrepreneur, says, you will be misunderstood. If you want to be understood, you don't want to go into business. And he said, just start. Make plenty of mistakes. Even if you start messy, you make plenty of mistakes, and whatever you learn from your mistakes. I guess some people might say mistakes are the best teachers because they teach you in a hard way. As I say, tough teachers can often be the best, which will probably make me not a very good teacher because I'm a bit too soft. But but yeah, just to get started, and like people are probably going to tell you you can't do it, but it'd be good. And sometimes you find that one person who tells you can, and if they network together and invest together, maybe they could tell each other, yeah, we believe in you, we know you can do it, I did it, so you can as well. So they can teach and train each other and say, this is how I did it. As long as you put that effort in, you can do it or whatever. But and again, hopefully by networking together, they can make it easier. Imagine if they can make business easy, and if they have enough money and resources together, they can guarantee success. I don't know. Maybe you can't really say that. Maybe that's a bit irresponsible to say, but it would be interesting to think about.